The fluorescent lights buzzed like angry hornets overhead as Alex Harper shoved open the double doors of Elmwood High's main hallway, his heart slamming against his ribs harder than the echo of his sneakers on the linoleum. His father's voice, raw, venomous, laced with that small-town venom he'd carried since Alex's mom left, boomed from the principal's office, spilling out into the crowded corridor where students froze mid-step, phones already whipping out to capture the meltdown. "You're my son, damn it, and no faggy phase is gonna ruin this family, not on my watch," John Harper bellowed. And in that split-second fracture of public humiliation, Alex's world tilted, every whispered rumor about his secret boyfriend igniting into a bonfire that consumed his silence forever. He didn't plan the words. They erupted like a dam burst after years of bottled storms. "I'm gay, Dad. Deal with it or walk away. But stop pretending I'm broken because you can't face your own shadows." The hallway gasped collectively, a ripple of shock turning to murmurs as John's face purpled, veins bulging like rivers about to flood. Alex stood there, 16 and trembling but unbowed, the weight of 100 eyes pinning him in place while his father's fist clenched, hovering inches from his jaw, not striking, but close enough to taste the threat. It was the kind of moment that etched itself into a town's folklore. The gay kid who finally snapped back at the macho mill worker who'd raised him on beer cans and Bible verses twisted into weapons. As the principal, Mrs. Delaney, with her perpetual clipboard shield, rushed forward to herd John toward the exit, Alex's knees buckled against the lockers. He slid down, backpack thumping beside him, the cold metal biting through his jeans like a reminder that vulnerability wasn't armor. Whispers swirled. "Did you see that? His dad's gonna kill him." "Wait, Alex's." But amid the chaos, a hand, gentle, steady, gripped his shoulder. Ms. Elena Rivera, the art teacher who'd always seen the sketches he hid in his locker, the ones of boys holding hands under starry skies, knelt beside him. Her dark eyes, framed by silver-streaked hair, held a storm of their own, not pity, but something sharper, like shared scars. "Come with me, Mijo," she murmured, her voice a lifeline in the roar. "There's something you need to know about your father, something that changes everything." Alex followed her numbly to the art room, the door clicking shut like a vault sealing secrets. The space smelled of clay and turpentine, canvases leaning like silent witnesses against the walls, abstract swirls of color that Ms. Rivera said captured the mess of being human. He collapsed into a stool, hands shaking as he clutched a sketchpad, flipping it open to a half-finished drawing of Jamie, his boyfriend of 3 months, all soft curls and shy smiles that made Alex's chest ache with something pure and terrifying. Jamie, the quiet violinist from the other side of the tracks, who'd texted him that morning. "Proud of you, whatever happens. Love you." But now, after this explosion, Alex wondered if love could survive a father's war. Ms. Rivera poured him water from a chipped mug, her movements deliberate, like she was buying time to unravel a knot. She was in her late 50s, with the kind of face that told stories, laugh lines from Manila streets she'd fled as a young lesbian in the 70s, now etched deeper by decades of fighting for kids like him in this conservative corner of Ohio. "Alex," she started, sitting across from him, her paint-splattered apron a badge of battles won in silence. "Your father, John, he wasn't always like this. The anger, the words he hurls, it's not just prejudice. It's fear. Deep, buried fear from his own youth." Alex's laugh came out brittle, shards of it catching in his throat. "Fear? He preaches hate like gospel, Mizar. Last week, he burned my favorite shirt because it was too rainbow. That's not fear. That's him trying to erase me." He traced the pencil lines of Jamie's eyes on the page, willing them to steady him. Outside, the bell rang, muffled chaos resuming as if his life hadn't just splintered in public. But Ms. Rivera's gaze didn't waver. It pierced, pulling at threads he didn't know existed. She leaned forward, voice dropping to a whisper that carried the weight of confessions long guarded. "When I was your age, 18, fresh out of community college, I taught summer art classes at the old community center in town. Your dad was there, John Harper, all bravado and broad shoulders, but quieter then, sketching portraits that bled emotion. He drew me once, after hours, under the guise of practicing light. It wasn't just art, Alex. There was a boy in those classes, Tommy Ellis, with freckles and a laugh like summer rain. John watched him the way you watch Jamie. And one night, after everyone left, they kissed behind the supply shed. I saw it. I kept it safe, because I knew what it cost to love like that in a place that devours secrets. The room spun, Alex's breath hitching as if the air had thickened with turpentine fumes. His father, stoic, beer-swilling John, who coached Little League and quoted Reagan like scripture, kissing a boy. The image clashed violently with the man who'd grounded him for hugging a male friend too long, who'd muttered slurs under his breath at pride flags on TV. "You're lying," Alex choked out, but his voice lacked conviction. Ms. Rivera's eyes shimmered with old pain, the kind that didn't fabricate. "No, Mijo. Tommy died a year later. Car wreck on Route 42, coming back from a secret weekend in Cleveland." John shattered. "He buried it all, married your mom to prove something to himself, to the town. But the hate he spews? It's the echo of that grief, twisted into a shield. He sees you, Alex, and it terrifies him, because you're brave where he couldn't be." She reached across, squeezing his hand, her skin warm and calloused from years of molding clay into truths. "Tell no one yet. But know this, you're standing up today." It cracked his armor. "Give it time. And lean on us. Me, Jamie, your friends. Love isn't erased. It's what rebuilds." Alex nodded, dazed, as the weight settled. Not lighter, but reshaped, like clay under patient hands. He texted Jamie, "Need you. Art room. Dad's a mess, but so am I." The reply buzzed instant. "On my way. We're unbreakable." As footsteps approached, Alex glanced at the window, where autumn leaves clattered against glass like hesitant applause. The confrontation had been his spark, this secret, his map. But Elmwood's shadows stretched long, friends with their own closets, a town simmering with judgments. And Alex wondered if forgiveness could bloom in such poisoned soil, or if the real storm was just beginning. That afternoon blurred into a haze of sidelong stares and forced normalcy. Alex skipped his last class, holing up in the library's back stacks with Jamie, whose presence was a balm of quiet strength. Jamie Ellis, no relation to Tommy, thank God. But the coincidence prickled like fate's cruel joke, curled against him on the worn carpet, violin case propped like a sentinel. "Your dad's truck was still in the lot when I came in," Jamie murmured, fingers interlacing with Alex's, calluses from strings a gentle rasp. Heard the yelling from the parking lot. "You okay?" Alex exhaled, the secret from Ms. Rivera bubbling like acid on his tongue. He wanted to spill it, to share the impossible weight, but caution held him. John's rage was a live wire, unpredictable. Instead, he leaned into Jamie's shoulder, inhaling the faint scent of rosin and rain-damp wool. "I think so. It was like jumping off a cliff, you know? Terrifying, but now I'm falling, and it doesn't hurt as much." Jamie tilted his head, those brown eyes soft but searching, the ones that had first caught Alex's across orchestra practice last spring, when a shared glance amid scales turned into stolen notes in the bandroom. They'd kept it hidden at first, texts at midnight, brushes of hands in crowded halls, because Elmwood wasn't San Francisco. It was Friday night lights and church suppers where alternative lifestyles earned side eyes and sermons. Alex's coming out had been a whisper to Jamie under the bleachers, met with a kiss that tasted like freedom. But today, it was a shout, and Jamie's pride in him shone brighter than fear. "You're my hero," Jamie said simply, pressing a chaste kiss to Alex's temple. "And if he comes at you again, he's got me to deal with. Us against the world, right?" "Right," Alex echoed, though doubt gnawed. His phone vibrated. "Mom," finally, her text a frantic "call me. Heard from school. Love you both." She'd left when he was 10, chasing a nursing job in Columbus, leaving John to his bitterness and Alex to navigate the wreckage. Calls were sporadic, guilt-laced. She loved from afar, but distance bred detachment. He pocketed it, focusing on Jamie's steady breath, the way their legs tangled innocently, a tangle of support. But peace fractured when the library door creaked, and in walked Riley Tate, Alex's best friend since kindergarten, the firecracker lesbian with a buzz cut and a mouth that could disarm bullies or ignite revolutions. Riley, who'd come out last year to cheers at the GSA meeting but whispers at home, dropped her backpack with a thud. "Holy shit, Alex, The whole school's buzzing. Your dad's face? Priceless. But seriously, you good? Her eyes flicked to Jamie, a knowing grin softening the worry. Riley was the glue, the one who'd dragged Alex to his first Pride sticker haul, who'd punched a jock for slinging slurs. But beneath her bravado lay her own cracks. Absentee parents more focused on shifts at the factory than her dreams of art school. Better than good, Alex said, pulling her into a group huddle. Though Miser dropped a bomb on me. About Dad. The words tumbled then, the secret spilling in hushed tones amid the scent of old books. Riley's eyes widened, jaw slackening as Jamie squeezed Alex's knee in silent solidarity. Whoa, she breathed. That's huge. Explains the overcompensation. But what now? Confront him? Or let it simmer? Simmer, Jamie advised, ever the mediator. Give him space to process. Alex, you're not alone in this. They sat there, the three of them a fortress of chosen family, plotting nothing grand. Just survival, laced with the tentative hope of healing. Outside, dusk painted the windows purple, and as they parted with hugs that lingered like promises, Alex felt the first stir of resolve. His father's secret wasn't absolution. It was a mirror, reflecting back the boy John once was, lost to time and tragedy. Could Alex reach him? Or would the town's prejudices pull them under first? Dinner that night was a minefield. John slumped at the Formica table in their shotgun house on Maple Street, the TV droning football highlights as camouflage for the silence. Alex poked at Meatloaf, the congealed edges mirroring his mood, while John's beer can sweated rings on a coaster etched with "World's Best Dad," a lie from happier days. The air hummed with unspoken grenades. The hallway scene, the slurs that still echoed, the secret Alex now carried like a loaded gun. John cleared his throat first, voice gruff as gravel. School called. Suspended me from the parent volunteer list. Said I disrupted. He didn't look up, fork scraping plate like nails on chalkboard. Alex's pulse quickened, defiance warring with the pity Ms. Rivera had planted. Say it, a voice urged. Call him out on Tommy. But no, the wound was too fresh. Prodding would draw blood. You disrupted more than that, Alex said quietly, eyes on his peas. You outed me to the whole school, Dad. Made it a spectacle. John's fork stilled, knuckles whitening. The room contracted, the hum of the fridge amplifying the tension. I was protecting you, he growled. From that life. It's not right, Alex. God's plan. God's plan. Alex's voice rose, cracking like thin ice. Or your fear? Because if it's God, why do you drink to forget? It wasn't the secret. Not yet, but it landed like a spark on dry tinder. John's chair scraped back, face storming, but he didn't lunge. Instead, he paced to the sink, back turned, shoulders heaving. You don't know shit about forgetting, boy. Life breaks you young. You think this is easy. Alex stood, heart pounding. Then talk to me. Stop hiding behind anger. The plea hung, vulnerable, and for a heartbeat, John's reflection in the window softened, eyes haunted, like Ms. Rivera's description of a boy sketching in shadows. But he shook it off, muttering, Go to your room. We'll talk tomorrow. It wasn't victory, but it wasn't war. Alex retreated upstairs, collapsing onto his bed amid posters of indie bands and hidden Pride pins, texting the group chat. Dinner sucked, but he didn't explode. Progress? Riley, hell yes. Baby steps. Jamie, proud. Call if you need me. Sleep came fitful, dreams weaving Tommy's ghost with John's younger face, kisses stolen under moonlight clashing with modern slurs. Morning brought school, a gauntlet of stares and support. In homeroom, whispers parted like waves as Alex entered, but Riley flanked him, arm linked defiantly. Own it, she whispered. You're the legend now. Jamie waited at his locker, a stolen muffin pressed into his hand, their fingers brushing in coded affection. And Ms. Rivera, in art class, slipped him a note. Draw your truth today. It'll guide you. The canvas called, charcoal smudging his fingers as he sketched, not Jamie this time, but a fractured portrait. Half John as the raging father, half as the secret youth, hands outstretched toward a fading Tommy. It poured out, lines of pain, curves of longing, until tears blurred the page. Ms. Rivera watched from afar, nodding approval. That's power, Alex. Art doesn't lie. By lunch, the drawing circulated in the GSA circle, a quiet revolution amid sandwiches and sodas. But whispers of backlash brewed. A group of jocks led by Brody Klein, John's Little League protege, muttering about teaching the fairy a lesson. The threat loomed as Alex walked home that afternoon, autumn wind whipping leaves into eddies. Jamie caught up, violin slung over his shoulder. Heard about Brody. Stay close. They veered toward the park, seeking solace in swings creaking under weight of confessions. I love you, Alex said suddenly, the words anchor. Jamie stopped swinging, face lighting with that shy smile. Love you more. And whatever comes, we face it. Their hug was fierce, platonic in public but electric with promise. No heat, just heart. But fate twisted that evening. A knock rattled the door, Brody and two shadows, reeking of cheap cologne and entitlement. John answered, face hardening. What the hell? Alex peered from the stairs, pulse racing. Coach said you need reminding who's in charge, Brody sneered. But John's stance shifted, protective, not permissive. Get off my porch, kid. That's my son. The shove was paternal, sending them scattering, but as the truck peeled away, John's eyes met Alex's, raw, unguarded. Inside, he grunted, locking the door. In the kitchen, under the harsh bulb, John cracked a soda, non-alcoholic, a concession, and slid one to Alex. Those punks. Remind me of me at their age. Angry at ghosts. The opening yawned, and Alex seized it, heart hammering. Like Tommy. The name dropped like a stone in still water, ripples widening John's eyes to saucers. Silence stretched, taut as a bowstring, before John deflated, sinking into a chair. How? Ms. Rivera. She saw you too. Said you loved him. John's face crumpled, not in rage, but release. Tears carving tracks down weathered cheeks. Tommy was everything. Then gone. I couldn't. The town, the guilt. Married your mom thinking it'd fix me. But it didn't. Seeing you, Alex, brave, open, it rips it all up. The confession flooded, decades spilling in fragments. Stolen weekends, a hidden shoebox of sketches, the wreck that stole light from John's world. Alex listened, hand tentative on his father's arm, the touch bridging chasms. It's not too late, Dad, Alex whispered. For you. For us. John nodded, broken but mending. Forgive me. Working on it, Alex said, honest. That night, they talked till dawn, not all healed, but started. The secret, once poison, became bridge. Weeks blurred into tentative thaws. John attended GSA as an ally in training, awkward but present. Alex and Jamie's relationship deepened in daylight walks, handholds defying stares. Riley launched a mural project with Ms. Rivera, painting queer icons on the school fence, vibrant defiance. But conflict crested at the winter formal, when Brody's crew crashed the after-party, slurs flying like shrapnel. Alex stood firm, John at his back, fists unclenched, voice steady. Enough. The brawl averted, but bruises lingered, literal and not. In the aftermath, over hot cocoa at home, John shared Tommy's sketchbook, pages yellowed but alive. Keep it. Remember, we're all just trying. Alex did, the gift a talisman. Spring brought blooms, literal, in the park where Alex proposed to Jamie, not rings but promises, forever, against the odds. Jamie's yes was tear-streaked joy. Riley got her art school acceptance, Ms. Rivera her quiet pride. And John, he hung a rainbow magnet on the fridge, small but seismic. The climax hit like summer storm. A town hall on inclusivity, John speaking haltingly of loss and love, outing his past to gasps, and then applause. Alex watched, chest swelling, vindication, not vengeance. Prejudices cracked, not shattered, but light seeped in. In the end, family wasn't blood alone, but chosen threads weaving through storms. Alex, once fractured, stood whole, loving fiercely, forgiving slowly, living unapologetically in Elmwood's evolving heart. The summer after junior year dawned sticky and unrelenting, the kind of Ohio heat that clung to skin like regret. But for Alex Harper, it carried the faint promise of reinvention. He'd traded hallway standoffs for shifts at the local bookstore, stacking paperbacks on queer history and sci-fi escapes, each spine a small rebellion against the town's lingering side-eyes. Jamie worked weekends at the music shop downtown, tuning guitars with that focused grace that still made Alex's stomach flip. not in lust, but in the deeper pull of souls aligning. Their dates were simple: picnics by the river, where fireflies danced like hesitant confessions, or late-night drives to the edge of town, windows down, sharing playlists that mixed Elliott Smith melancholy with Hozier anthems. John, too, was changing, haltingly, like a glacier calving icebergs into warmer seas. No longer the bellowing shadow, he tinkered in the garage with half-finished birdhouses, Tommy's sketchbook now propped on a shelf like a silent therapist. Conversations flowed easier. Over breakfast, John asked about Jamie, not with suspicion but curiosity. He play that violin thing at the fair next month? And Alex answered without armor, the trust rebuilding brick by invisible brick. But scars festered beneath. One evening, flipping channels, a news segment on gay marriage anniversaries triggered John's flinch, remote slamming mute. Still processing, he muttered, and Alex let it lie, knowing healing wasn't linear. Riley, ever the spark plug, burst into their lives with plans for a queer youth art exhibit at the community center, the same one where Ms. Rivera had witnessed John's youth. It's full circle, bitches, she declared over ice cream cones at Scoops, her buzz cut now tipped electric blue, matching the streak in her enthusiasm. Alex, your portraits. Jamie, soundscapes with violin overlays. Me, graffiti murals on tolerance. Ms.'s curating. We launch in August. Boom, Elmwood's woke era. Her energy was infectious, a counter to the undercurrent of resistance. Petitions circulating to protect family values, whispers that the exhibit was pushing agendas on kids. Alex felt the pull of purpose, sketching feverishly, portraits of John and Tommy pieced from stories, ethereal and aching. Jamie mid-bow, notes visualized as swirling light. But doubt crept in during quiet moments, like when a customer at the bookstore sneered at his rainbow pin, muttering sickos ruining everything. Or when John hesitated before hugging him goodbye, old habits dying hard. Am I pushing too fast? Alex confided to Jamie one twilight, sprawled on a quilt by the Hocking River, pebbles skipping across water like skipped heartbeats. Jamie's hand found his, thumb tracing circles of reassurance. You're not pushing, you're pulling us forward. Your dad's trying. That's more than most get. His voice, soft as river murmur, carried the weight of his own hidden pains, parents who tolerated but didn't celebrate, a sibling who'd ghosted after Riley's coming-out party. Jamie's love was steady, a North Star. They'd navigated the formal fallout together, bandaging emotional cuts with inside jokes and stargazing. And this exhibit? It's your voice, Alex. Use it. Emboldened, Alex dove deeper, collaborating with Riley on a centerpiece. A triptych wall, left panel John's shadowed youth, center their fractured confrontation, right a hopeful mosaic of community hands intertwined. Ms. Rivera guided with gentle critiques, her Manila accent wrapping wisdom like silk. Art is confrontation without fists, Mijo. It invites the viewer to feel, not fight. Her own piece, a self-portrait from the 70s, defiantly joyful amid protest signs, hung as inspiration, a reminder that survival bred strength. But tension escalated mid-July, when Brody Klein, still smarting from the porch shove, rallied a concerned parents' group, plastering flyers decrying the exhibit as indoctrination. John spotted one tacked to the factory bulletin board, crumpling it in his lunch pail. Idiots, he grumbled over dinner, but his eyes betrayed flicker of old shame. Some of them are my buddies. Talking boycott. Alex's fork paused. This was the test. Would John retreat to his bunker or stand? The next GSA meeting, held in the center's basement, crackled with nerves. 20 kids crammed folding chairs, from wide-eyed freshmen to seniors like Riley, who paced like a caged panther. We don't back down, she rallied. This is our space. But midway, the door banged open. Brody, flanked by two dads, faces flushed with beer bravado. Heard you're perverting kids with this fag art show, Brody spat, and the room tensed, Alex's pulse thundering as memories of slurs resurfaced. John, who'd shown up unannounced with a cooler of sodas, thought you could use backup, rose slowly, his millwork frame filling the doorway. Watch your mouth, Klein. That's my son you're slandering, and half these kids folks I coached. Ain't perversion, it's truth. The words landed like thunderclaps, Brody's sneer faltering. A standoff stretched, seconds ticking like bombs, until Ms. Rivera stepped forward, voice steel-wrapped velvet. "Gentlemen, the door's that way. Or join us, see what real courage looks like." Deflated, they slunk out, but the echo lingered, a warning shot. After, John clapped Alex's shoulder, grip firm. "Proud of you, kid. Tommy'd be too." The praise warmed, but Alex saw the cost. Texts from old buddies pulling away, isolation creeping. That night, father and son shared beers. Root for Alex, real for John. On the back porch, fireflies winking approval. "Hurts, losing friends," John admitted. "But keeping you? Worth it." Alex nodded, throat tight. "Love you, Dad." Simple words, seismic shift. The exhibit launch approached like a gathering storm, rehearsals frantic. Jamie layering violin loops over spoken word poems on acceptance, Riley spray painting final touches under street lamps. Alex's triptych gleamed, colors vivid, blues of sorrow melting to golds of grace. Invites went town-wide, a gauntlet thrown. Opening night, the center buzzed, supporters in rainbow tees mingling with skeptics clutching purses like shields. Ms. Rivera emceed, her speech a masterclass in empathy. Art doesn't demand agreement, it demands witness. Alex's piece drew a crowd, murmurs rippling as viewers traced the panels. An elderly woman, Tommy's aunt, Ms. Rivera later revealed, touched the sketch of young John, tears glistening. "He was my nephew's light," she whispered to Alex. "Thank you for remembering." John hovered nearby, face ashen but rooted, fielding glares with nods. Then Brody stormed in, flyer in hand, voice raised. "This is filth." Chaos erupted, shouts, a toppled easel, until Jamie's violin cut through, a haunting melody that froze the fray, notes pleading peace. In the hush, John stepped to the mic, voice cracking but clear. "I came here angry once, like some of you. Lost the boy I loved to a wreck, buried it under hate. My son, Alex, dug it up, made me face it. This art, it's not filth, it's family." Gasps, then applause, tentative, then thunderous. Brody slunk out, defeated. The night pivoted, connections sparking, a dad hugging his questioning teen, Riley leading an impromptu workshop. After cleanup, Alex and Jamie slipped outside, stars pricking the sky. "We did it," Alex breathed, forehead to Jamie's. "Yeah," Jamie murmured. "And we're just starting." Their kiss was soft, celebratory, love's quiet victory. But twists lingered. Weeks later, a letter arrived, Tommy's sister, forgiving John's silence, inviting a memorial hike. John went, Alex beside, scattering petals by the wreck site. Catharsis flowed, tears mingling with wind. Back home, John framed a sketch, "For the boys I love." Alex's heart swelled, full circle. Riley jetted to art school, promises of visits. Ms. Rivera retired with honors, mentoring from afar. Alex and Jamie planned senior year, prom as dates, college apps to Ohio State, dreams intertwined. Elmwood softened, not saintly, but stirring. In the heat's fade, Alex sketched anew, futures unbound, love the boldest line. Senior year unfurled like a banner stitched from fragile hopes, the crisp September air of Elmwood carrying whispers of change amid the rustle of turning leaves. Alex Harper navigated the halls of high school with a newfound stride, no longer ducking shadows but meeting gazes, some warm, others wary, with the steady fire Ms. Rivera's lessons had kindled. His locker, once a vault for hidden sketches, now sported a discreet pride sticker beside band schedules, a quiet claim on space. Jamie Ellis matched his rhythm, their lockers adjacent like bookends, violins and charcoals in harmonious clutter. Mornings began with brushed knuckles and passing, a code for "I'm here," evolving into bolder links during lunch, fingers woven under cafeteria tables as Riley regaled the GSA table with tales from her freshman dorm escapades. John's transformation deepened roots, tentative but tenacious. Mornings saw him at the stove, flipping pancakes with uncharacteristic flair. Learned from a YouTube queer chef, he'd quip, winking to disarm awkwardness, while evenings brought porch sits, sharing sections of the paper. The sports page for John, arts for Alex. Tommy's memory wove in gently. A birdhouse gifted to the community center, inscribed for flights untaken. But fractures tested them. A family reunion invite from Columbus arrived, Mom's script looping apologies for past absences. She wants to meet Jamie. Alex told John over coffee, tension coiling. John's jaw tightened, old resentment surfacing, but he exhaled slow. Go. Tell her. We're trying. The call to Mom bridged gaps, her voice tear-choked. I'm proud, baby. Coming home for Thanksgiving. School's pulse quickened with homecoming hype, but undercurrents stirred unrest. A new counselor, Mr. Hargrove, trans man with a gentle baritone and pronoun pins, faced pushback from the school board, petitions demanding his ideological neutrality. Alex, galvanized, rallied GSA for a support walkout, banners reading "See us, support us." Riley, home for the weekend, amplified via socials, her posts viral in microcircles. This is our fight now, she texted, fueling Alex's resolve. Yet personal tempests brewed. Jamie hit a skid, violin additions for Allstate looming, fingers fumbling under pressure. What if I'm not enough? He confessed one rainy afternoon in Alex's room, rain pattering like impatient fingers on the window. Posters of queer icons. Elliot Page, Janelle Monáe, watched benevolently as Alex pulled him close, no more than a hug, but laden with understanding. You're everything. Pressure's the thief. Don't let it steal your music. They talked till the storm broke, Jamie emerging with a practice regimen, Alex his cheer squad of one. The walkout day dawned gray, skies mirroring moods. 50 students streamed to the quad, chanting softly, Hargrove at the fore with a megaphone heart. John parked across the street, horn a subtle honk of solidarity, face peering from the truck cab. But midway, counter-protesters, led by a board member's wife, crosses gleaming, chanted back, voices venomous, protect our kids. A shove escalated, elbows flying, until Alex climbed the steps, megaphone rested gently. We're not threats, we're your neighbors, your kin. Mr. Hargrove helps us heal, not harm. His voice, amplified, carried John's cadence, steady, scarred. Silence fell, then claps scattered, growing. Hargrove's eyes met his, gratitude profound. After, backlash bit. Anonymous notes in Alex's locker, freak, and John's truck keyed in the lot. Rage simmered, but they channeled it. John filing a police report, Alex journaling fury into art. Ms. Rivera, visiting from retirement, hosted a healing circle at her studio, paints and palettes as therapy. Anger is clay, she said, hands guiding. Mold it, don't let it harden you. Thanksgiving brought Mom, Sarah, her nursing scrubs swapped for a sweater soft as apologies. The table groaned under turkey and tension, Jamie included as family, his shy charm thawing John. Stories flowed, Sarah's regrets, John's guarded tales of Tommy, Alex bridging with humor. To Sikan's chances, Sarah toasted, glasses clinking like fragile bells. Laughter followed, tentative, then true, a hearth warmed after frost. But December's chill ushered crisis. Jamie's audition arrived, Columbus Conservatory scouts in tow. Alex drove him, playlist a talisman, but en route, a text from Riley. Board caved, Hargrove stays, but with oversight. When? Nerves knotted. At the hall, Jamie shone, bowed dancing, notes soaring like released birds. Scouts nodded, acceptance came swift. Elation exploded in hugs outside, but Jamie's face shadowed. It's Oberlin, Alex. Out of state. What about us? The question hung, a chasm widening. Back home, over cocoa, they mapped logistics, weekends, summers, but fear gnawed, distance as divider. We'll make it, Alex vowed, but sleep evaded, dreams of fading echoes. Holiday break intensified bonds. Riley crashed for a week, trio marathoning queer films, Moonlight, Love, Simon, dissecting joys and jabs. John joined one night, commentary gruff but engaged, that dad's arc hits close. Vulnerability peaked, a gift. New Year's Eve, under Elmwood's lone fireworks, Alex and Jamie renewed promises on the frozen riverbank, breaths clouding like secrets shared. Distance tests, doesn't break, Jamie said. John watched from afar, Sarah beside, her arm tentative on his. Old sparks? Alex wondered, but focused on now. January thawed resolve. Prom planning ignited GSA, Themes spectrum of us. Drag optional. Dates celebrated. Alex sketched invites. Jamie composed the playlist. But a twist. Brody reformed? Approached Alex in the hall, mumbling. Saw your dad's speech. Sorry for everything. Can I help with setup? Skepticism warred with grace. Alex nodded. Prove it. Redemption arcs unfolded. Brody hauling tables, sharing beers with John, tales of his own questioning. Not saint, but striving. The prom night glittered, tiaras and tuxes, dances fluid. Alex and Jamie slow danced to First Day of My Life, world narrowing to heartbeats. John chaperoned, awkward sway with Sarah stirring nostalgia. Graduation loomed, caps and gowns symbols of endings. Alex's valedictorian nod surprised, speech drafted on forgiveness's forge. We've stood together, now we step forward. Applause roared, John's proud tears rivaling Alex's. Summer postgrad, Jamie to Oberlin, Alex commuting to OSU. Farewells ached, but video calls bridged, love letters in margins. John and Sarah dated cautiously, history a compass. Riley thrived, visits electric. A year on, Alex reflected in a park sketch. Lines converged, not diverged. Love's drama, conflicts, climaxes, forged not fractured. Elmwood, once cage, now launchpad. Secrets shared, prejudices pierced, hearts whole. College freshman orientation at Ohio State hit Alex Harper like a whirlwind of autumn leaves. Crimson scarves whipping across the oval, laughter echoing off brick arches. A cacophony of futures colliding under Columbus's sprawling sky. He'd chosen English lit, drawn to stories that dissected the human tangle, while Jamie's Oberlin Hills, just 2 hours north, pulsed with music majors lost in sonatas. Weekends became sacraments, Amtrak rides to shared cafes, where lattes steamed with updates. Alex's roommate, a bi-theater kid named Theo who blasted musicals at dawn. Jamie's sweetmate, a non-binary composer experimenting with atonal queer anthems. Their reunions were feasts of touch, hugs lingering, hands clasped across tables. No more than that, but rich with the intimacy of minds attuned. Back in Elmwood, the house felt cavernous without Alex's clutter, John rattling around with newfound hobbies. Woodworking classes at the rec center, where he'd met a widow named Clara, her laugh coaxing smiles from his reticence. Sarah visited often, nursing shifts allowing stolen dinners, their rekindled spark a slow burn. Conversations over wine about lost years, Tommy's shadow acknowledged, but not overshadowing. We're not kids anymore, John told Alex over FaceTime, his face softer in pixel light. But damn if it doesn't feel possible. Alex grinned, pride swelling. His stand-up had rippled, reshaping not just family but ripples in town. GSA doubled, Hardrose counseling thriving. Riley's influence beamed from NYU, her Instagram a riot of street art and subway serenades with a new girlfriend, Lena, a poet with ink-stained fingers. Elmwood's my roots, but NYC's the bloom, she video called. Backdrop a graffiti wall proclaiming love amplifies. Her exhibit photos still circulated, inspiring a high school mural club. But distance tugged. Homesickness hit Alex in waves. Dorm walls closing during midnight study sessions when essays on Baldwin's Giovanni's rooms stirred echoes of his own concealed aches. A curveball landed mid-October. Theo, bubbly and boundary-pushing, confessed a crush over late-night ramen. You're cute, Alex. That brooding artist vibe. Flattered but firm, Alex navigated with care. I'm with Jamie, heart and soul. Preserving friendship without fracture. But the encounter unearthed insecurities. Was their long-distance flame flickering? Jamie's texts grew sparse amid rehearsals, replies delayed by exhaustion. A weekend visit clarified. Oberlin's intensity mirroring Alex's, but love's thread held taut. Miss you fierce, Jamie murmured in a campus alcove, violin case at feet, their foreheads touching like puzzle pieces. But this? It's us growing, not apart. Thanksgiving anchored them homeward. The Harper table expanded, Clara beside John, her stories of teaching kindergarten weaving warmth, Sarah across, eyes sparkling at John's attentiveness, Jamie fitting seamless, carving turkey with mock solemnity, laughter layered over turkey and tension, toasts to bridges built. Post-feast, Alex and John retreated to the garage, tools in hand on a joint project. A hope chest for Alex's sketches, cedar scented with possibility. "Your mom's staying the week," John said casually, pausing. "Feels right." Alex hugged him impulsively. The embrace returned full. Father's arms strong, no longer hesitant. But winter's grip tightened conflicts. News from Elmwood. The board, emboldened by election shifts, proposed cutting Hargrove's funding, citing parental rights. Alex, incensed, co-organized a virtual rally with Riley's network, petitions, op-eds in the local rag. John testified at a hearing, voice steady over Zoom. "Lost a loved ones to silence. Won't let these kids suffer the same." The clip went viral locally, swaying votes, funding intact, but vigilance vowed. Jamie's spring recital tested mettle. Alex drove through sleet, arriving drenched but devoted, front row as Jamie's concerto unfolded, a piece dedicated to fractured lights, mended bold, violin weeping joy and jagged loss. Post-curtain, scouts buzzed, a summer fellowship in Boston beckoned. Elation mingled with dread, more miles. But Jamie's eyes locked. "Come visit. We'll weave it in." Alex nodded, resolve hardening. Prom echoes resurfaced in OSU's queer formal, Theo as wingman. Alex danced with abandon, but midway, a call shattered. Riley, sobbing. "Lena cheated, breakup brutal. Feels like sophomore year all over," she choked. Alex bolted to Penn Station next weekend. NYC a blur of bagels and bridges, holding Riley as she vented. "Love's not linear," he echoed Ms. Rivera, prescribing paint and poetry slams. Lena's loss honed Riley's edge, emerging fiercer, a chapbook in works, themes of betrayals bloom. John's arc twisted tenderly. Clara's son, visiting, outed as ace, aromantic, content single, sparked John's empathy. "Like Tommy's quiet ways," he shared with Alex. "Makes me see clearer." Dates with Sarah deepened, a weekend getaway to Hocking Hills yielding engaged whispers, not rushed, but rooted. Summer bridged gaps. Alex interning at a Columbus gallery, Jamie's Boston stint yielding duo trips, concerts in the Common, sketches of harbor lights. Elmwood interludes grounded, barbecues with Hargrove's family, Brody now a reluctant ally, coaching youth with inclusivity clauses. Climax crested at Riley's book launch, NYC buzzing. Alex flew, John and Sarah tagging, family debut. Readings raw, Riley's words on standing up to shadows, drawing tears, applause. After-party toasts clinked. To us, unbroken. Fall sophomore year, Alex proposed a road trip, cross-country, chasing queer landmarks, Stonewall, Harvey Milk sites. Jamie joined, John gifting the van, for the stories. Miles mended, vistas vast as healing. Years layered, graduations, Alex's thesis on narrative redemption, Jamie's concerto premiere. John and Sarah wed quietly, Tommy's ring repurposed. Riley's bestseller, Ms. Rivera's memoir collab. In a San Francisco sunset, Alex and Jamie vowed. Rings simple, promises profound. Love's drama, conflicts conquered, climaxes claimed, characters carved deep. Elmwood's echo, forever home. By junior year, Alex Harper's life at Ohio State had settled into a rhythm as intricate as the prose he dissected in seminar rooms overlooking the Scioto River. Passages from Woolf and Baldwin now companions rather than mirrors of turmoil. His sketches evolved too, transitioning from raw charcoal confessions to digital montages projected in lit club screenings, themes of inherited silences giving way to choral voices. Jamie's Oberlin tenure bloomed into collaborations, his violin threading soundtracks for Alex's short films. Queer vignettes screened at campus fests, drawing crowds that lingered for Q&As laced with laughter and lingering questions. Elmwood's tendrils pulled periodic, holidays a tapestry of textures. John's marriage to Sarah solidified, their union a quiet ceremony at the community center, ironic full circle, with Ms. Rivera officiating, her vows weaving Filipino proverbs on enduring love. Clara attended as kin, her ace son bonding with Alex over board games, normalizing spectra. The reception danced under strung lights, John twirling Sarah with unpracticed grace, whispering to Alex mid-waltz, "Never thought I'd get here." Thanks to you, son. Alex's throat tightened, the weight of that first hallway stand-up now a foundation stone. Riley's ascent dazzled from afar. Her chapbook echoes uncloseted climbing indie lists, tours packing queer-lit fests. Visits home meant sleepovers in Alex's old room. Gossip marathons, dissecting hookups and heartaches. Lena was a lesson, she'd say. Now dating a barista named Kai, their vibe all coffee-fueled debates. But vulnerability peaked. Sometimes wonder if I'm too loud for love. Alex countered with hugs and honesty. Your volume's your strength. Someone will harmonize. Challenges crested subtly. Theo's theater troupe cast Alex in a play. Angels in America, Pryor's Anguish a glove fit. Rehearsals unearthed buried griefs. John's Tommy tales revisited in therapy sessions. Alex started unpacking paternal projections. It's not just Dad's past, he journaled. It's mine, fear of repeating silences. Jamie attended opening night, bouquet of wildflowers in hand, tears tracking during curtain call. You were luminous, he said post-party, drive back to Oberlin a cocoon of debriefs. Spring brought Jamie's Crossroads, a New York Orchestra Fellowship offer, Siren's Song of Spotlights. It's the dream, he confided during a rainy weekend in Columbus, tucked in Alex's dorm amid pizza boxes. But leaving the Midwest. Us. Alex's heart stuttered. Oberlin close enough for spontaneity, NYC a chasm. Chase it, he urged, masking ache. We'll rewrite the map. Goodbyes at Union Station were soft demolitions, promises packed like luggage. John's midlife pivot surprised, volunteering with PFLAG, facilitating dad groups on allyship. Awkward as hell, he admitted over summer grill-outs, burgers sizzling. But hearing their stories mirrors mine. Sarah supported, her nursing tales of diverse patients broadening horizons. A family trip to D.C., Smithsonian Queers in History, cemented bonds, selfies amid exhibits. John mugging before a Stonewall plaque, caption late bloomer. Riley's crisis hit summer's zenith. A bad review in The Guardian, words slashing as hysterical agitprop. Crushed, she crashed Elmwood, Alex driving rescue. Days blurred in solidarity. Hikes, hot dish, Ms. Rivera's studio revivals. Critics fear what they can't control. The elder sage soothed, easels erected. Riley emerged with a rebuttal essay, viral firebrand. Fall senior year, Alex's thesis loomed, a novella on generational queer hauntings, John's input woven in anonymized vignettes. Jamie's NYC debut streamed live, Alex front row virtual, applause echoing through screens. Post-show call, missed you in the seats. Booked the flight next month, Alex promised. Climaxes converged at graduation duel. OSU Stadium roaring for Alex's lit honors, then trained to NYC for Jamie's conservatory finale. Speeches synced serendipity, Alex on narratives as lifelines, Jamie's encore a duo piece with a cellist friend, notes narrating absence bridged. After-party rooftop, city lights sprawling, they danced slow to buskers. Marry me? Jamie whispered, ring box velvet. Alex's yes dissolved in kisses, chaste but charged. Weddings wove next, John and Sarah's anniversary vowing renewals, Riley's commitment ceremony with Kai under cherry blossoms. Alex and Jamie's elopement, Vegas kitsch, witnesses Theo and a drag queen, sparked family toasts via Zoom. Years post-college layered legacies. Alex teaching high school English in Columbus, infusing curricula with diverse voices, Jamie touring quartets, compositions commissioned. John retired to mentoring, Sarah's clinic pioneering trans care. Riley's TED Talk, Ms. Rivera's honors. In a decade's glow, Alex reflected, stories arc from confrontation to constellation. Love's tensions transmuted triumphs, characters deepened by trials. Elmwood's boy, now man, stood tall, heart open, horizons endless. A decade's dust settled like fine gold on Alex Harper's life. The Columbus skyline now familiar as old friends. Condo overlooking the river, walls lined with canvases chronicling arcs from Elmwood's raw edges to this polished plateau. At 36, he lectured part-time at community college, weaving lit and art hybrids that drew queer youth like moths to lamplight, while freelancing graphic novels, tales of spectral loves, ghosts of unspoken yesteryears. Jamie, 35, balanced symphony seats with composing for indie films, his scores underscoring indies at Sundance, notes that evoked the hush before revelations. Their marriage, 8 years woven, was a duet of domestic symphonies. Mornings with espresso and crosswords, evenings sketching scores or scoring sketches, travels punctuating, Portland book tours, Vienna strings. Elmwood anchored, annual pilgrimages for John's barbecues, now patriarch of an extended brood. Sarah's nursing retirement yielding grandkids from her sister's line, Clara's son a frequent flyer with his partner, debates on ace representation lively. John, silvered and softened, tended a memorial garden for Tommy, perennials blooming defiant, volunteering tales at high schools, his gravel voice gentling prejudices. Never too late, he'd say. Eyes on Alex, gratitude unspoken but etched. Riley Tate Kai, 36, helmed a Brooklyn nonprofit, art therapy for LGBTQ+ survivors. Her third book Resonances a bestseller, tours blending readings with workshops. Visits crackled, rooftop brunches dissecting politics, Lena's ghost long exorcised. Kai keeps me grounded, she'd confide, their adopted twins toddling chaos. Ms. Rivera, 82, wintered nearby, her memoir Brushstrokes of Exile a quiet hit, collaborations with Alex yielding elder youth exhibits. Conflicts, inevitable, crested in midlife murmurs. Jamie's touring strained seams. Weeks in L.A., scoring a biopic, calls crackling with fatigue. It's the craft, he'd rationalize, but Alex tasted the toll. Empty beds, sketches unfinished. A fight brewed over dinner. Voices rising on priorities, culminating in slammed doors, silences chill. Are we drifting? Alex journaled, echoes of teen fears. Mediation came via therapy, a queer couples counselor unpacking. Growth isn't divergence, it's deeper dive. Reconciliation flowered in a vow renewal, backyard, just them, rings resized with engravings, echo and note. John's health scare jolted, prostate whisper turning biopsy storm. Waiting room vigils knit family tight, Sarah's hand in John's, Alex reading aloud from Baldwin, Jamie's violin soothing sterile halls. Benign, but the brush birth buckets, John penning letters to old ghosts, including Tommy's kin, a picnic reconciliation, stories swapped under oaks. Riley's zenith twisted, nonprofit funding slashed by conservative donors, backlash fierce. Fascists in suits, she raged in a crisis call. Alex and Jamie rallied. GoFundMe surging via networks, Sundance screening her doc canvas of courage. Victory tasted bittersweet, resilience forged. Climaxes personal. Alex's graphic novel shadows unveiled. John's story fictionalized, consent garnered awards. Launch in Elmwood drawing crowds. John spoke. My boy's words healed what fists couldn't. Tears, hugs, full circle. Jamie's Symphony Commission, queer chorus epic, premiered Carnegie, Alex front row, heart swelling it swells. Encore dedication. To the stand-up that started symphonies. Legacy bloomed. Mentoring circles, Alex guiding Elmwood teens. Jamie scholarships for rural artists. Grandkids called, stories spun of Grandpa's brave yell. In a quiet anniversary eve, Alex and Jamie walked the river, hands linked as always. From hallway hell to here, Alex mused. Jamie hummed assent. Love's plot. Twists, but triumphs. Stars wheeled, stories end open, chapters infinite, hearts entwined.